Well, ladies and gentlemen, g'day, and welcome back to the channel. Yes, it's here, ladies and gentlemen. The Type 5 Heavy is finally here in Blitz. It has arrived well and truly in full fashion and in full course here in Blitz. I'm just going to say one thing straight off the bat before we begin with the review and talk about the tank. We all thought, obviously, when Wargaming originally introduced, or rather they announced that the tank was going to be introduced, we all thought that the tank was going to be a tech tree tank. We all had this misconception that Wargaming were going to introduce this tank as a tech tree tank. Can you believe that? We thought that the whole tech tree for the Type 5 Heavy was going to be in World of Tanks Blitz. And we were so excited. We were so excited to see that. But in usual Wargaming fashion, unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So instead, it is a Tier 10 collector tank, and you have to get them in Type 5 heavy container crates, or heavy tank crates, or whatever you want to call them. And I believe they have like a 3 or 4% chance of dropping the tank. You have to buy a certain amount. Yes, it's expensive. Is it worth it? No, but at the same time, it's probably best that it's in crates than being in some ridiculous draw that you have to spend $1,000 to get, or in an after-party event like the Waffenträger Alfie 100 where you had to spend $1,000, and even then you still weren't guaranteed to get the tank. So yeah, I would say it's a pretty good trade-off, to be honest with you. Is it worth it? No, and I still won't recommend buying the crates because it's crates, you're gambling, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to really complain that much because, you know, we're seeing it every single time. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the review. Again, I'm not saying boycott Wargaming or anything like that. I'm just saying, in my opinion, the crates are not worth it. But, you know, if you want to buy it, go ahead and buy it. It's just going to be expensive. But here it is. Here is the Type 5 Heavy. This is the Type 5 Heavy in all of its glory. It's a fantastic looking tank. It's such a behemoth. You can see, I love the camouflage on this thing that I've put on it. It obviously comes with a legendary camouflage. Since recording this video, obviously I didn't have it at the time, my press account, but you can get it. So, it has 320 mils on the front of the turret, 200 on the rear, 240 mils on the front of the hull, 140 on the rear, 180 on the side. So, it does have a lot of armor. But again, it's very flat surfaces in some areas. Some of it's curved. So you won't be able to bounce a lot. It's a 152mm gun, 4.9 second aim time, 0.346 dispersion, 2200 DPM. I'm running these calibrated shells, 19.01 second reload, 275 mils of AP pen. You have premium AP that does 221 millimeters of pen, and 89 on your HE. Now you're probably wondering why your Premo does less pen. Well, that's because your Premo is actually premium AP that does more damage. So you do 800 damage as opposed to the 700 on your standard rounds and 1100 on your HE if you pen. So that's pretty impressive numbers right there. You got 8 degrees gun depression, so it's pretty good. In terms of your top speed, it's 27 kilometers per hour and 15 kilometers backwards. So it's okay. It's basically a mouse in terms of mobility, is what it is. But yeah, there you go. That is the Type 5 Heavy statistics. Here's a look at my equipment loadout. You can see that I'm running calibrated shells, improved optics, enhanced gun laying drive, enhanced armor, engine, accelerator, and refined gun, and of course some of the other ones there because, well, it's probably the best layout that you can go with this thing. So here we are playing on Middleburg. It was a bit tough to get some decent games, but nonetheless, this is me playing on Middleburg. This is a good example of how the tank can perform, or how well the tank can perform when put in certain situations, and, you know, given the right circumstances, it can perform exceptionally well. Again, it's all relative. It's all relative indeed. It's all in due course. You need to understand that not everything with this tank is going to work. You may see a big alpha damage gun and think, wow, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to do a lot of damage. But then you get shots like that just, yeah, you just hit the tracks. You just hit the tracks instead of actually doing any damage. Now, that 183 managed to hit me in an area where you'll be able to pen on the Type 5 Heavy, and that is right in front of the tank. Now, it's not necessarily on the whole armor, but rather on the sides where there are these bits of armor that are angled sort of inwards, or rather outwards, and they're, you know, at a bit of an angle. And if you over angle your tank ever so slightly, like I'm doing right here, they can pen right through and they'll easily get a shot. Now, notice how I got a 772 alpha shot. I managed to hit him with just standard AP, and, you know, your standard AP rounds will do just enough damage that you can actually hurt the enemy tanks. Now, that the Object 777 does bounce me, which is quite nice. But you can see it's got 2,800 hit points, so it's got quite a bit hit points right there. Now, as you can see, he is as red as a tomato. I managed to get a nice shot there, 659 alpha damage shot into the turret there. The Object 777 is going to try to hit me again. No, he's not even going to bother to try and hit me because he knows he can't pen me. There is a 268 there. I'm not going to bounce everything because, of course, the side armor is completely flat, which means you can be penned pretty easily if you over angle. So do keep that in mind. I'm going to try and get a shot into the Object 268 there. 737 damage there into the side of the Object 268. But I have to be careful here because there's E100 behind me. There's a T22 medium. There's a Kranwagen. All deadly tanks and all tanks that can cause a bit of a havoc. Again, this tank is a frontline heavy tank. But you need to play it like a mouse, but with the gun of an E100. So you need to be patient with the gun and make sure that you aim correctly. Because a lot of the time, you're not going to pen a lot of shots. Because, again, you've got a standard AP round that does a certain amount of damage. And then you get your premium round right there, which does 1,000 damage. That is with a high roll, of course, and I am probably going to die here. No, he actually bounces me. Surprisingly enough, he used heat there, and he hit my gun. I'm assuming he was going for my turret there. He must have hit my gun mantlet and didn't do any damage whatsoever. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why this tank can rock and roll. But again, you need to be wary because tanks like the E100 or like the Mouse, you're going to struggle to penetrate unless you really aim in your shots. Now, I managed to get a shot on the T22 medium, but of course, I bounce him. Because T22 medium, that's why, Russian bias. The E100 does end up killing me. Fair enough. But I do 3,168 damage. I bounced 1,980 hit points. I didn't really do any kills, but there you go. That is the first replay. I'm going to showcase another replay here on Falls Creek where it's actually a win. So, I'm actually happy that it was a win. So, I'm not too fussed about that. But here we go. This one's a bit different because it actually showcases how good the armor profile can be. Falls Creek is an interesting map. It's not ideal for a tank like this. That's a super heavy tank because, I mean, why would it be? You know? But it is still a good map nonetheless. Now, do keep in mind, by the way, they're like, oh, you're a heavy tank, please come with us. I'm like, bro, I'm too slow. I am not going to be able to get to your position and actually be effective. I'm going to be more effective in this position right here. Now, there is 2 T-57 heavies on that enemy team. Both of them hit me. And I believe the Foch actually manages to pen me. He gets 2 shots into me and managed to pen me. The T-57 heavy, the one that actually lost hit points because I shot him, he managed to pen. His platoon mate did not manage to pen. He bounced his shot. Fair enough. You're going to see that now I'm on basically half my hit points, because the Foch managed to do quite a bit of damage. I'm going to try and poke here. The Grill is going to be a bit aggressive in this situation. He's actually going to push up a bit too hard there. But it actually proves that he did a good job. Now, notice how I've already bounced 1,700 damage. Sorry, excuse me. I'm a bit sick, so just be wary if I start coughing like an idiot. We do have, I'm on 1,300 damage right now. That's another 560 alpha shot bounce by the Foch. I'm up to 2,320 alpha damage bounce. Yeah, you know, you can do that in this tank when you get lucky. It's just pretty fun to see. But anyway, I digress. The T-57 Heavy is going to come down. We're going to try and shoot him. I get a nice 760 alpha shot into the side because, well, his side armor is not exactly what I would call strong. He doesn't have a strong armor profile on the side of his tank. The Grill does kill him. Surprisingly enough, the Grill pushed way too hard there, and he managed to kill him, which is just funny in my mind. I just find it hilarious that the Grill is actually pushing up, and I'm not the one pushing up. So I thought, you know what the heck? I'm going to push up too because we are taking the advantage here. We're going to go for the win. We're going to go for gold. The Object 140 does kill the Grill 15, which has been unfortunate. So, Costa, thank you so much for your valiant efforts, my friend. I'm going to try and get a shot here into the Foch 155. Here we go. And a nice 1,000 alpha shot into him. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That is how it's done. Oh, boy, Cleveland, Ohio. That is the Type 5 Heavy, ladies and gentlemen. What a great battle that was. Just showcases how good the tank can be in certain situations. And there you go. 3,110 damage, 2,320 blocked, only an ace, a mastery's first class, so wasn't exactly an ace. I could have done a bit more damage. But there you go. That's a Type 5 heavy for you. Big behemoth, absolute monster in Blitz, and especially at tier 10. Really does prove that this tank can be devastating in certain situations, and of course in certain areas. But do keep in mind that if you want this tank, you're going to have to gamble for it. Would I recommend gambling? Absolutely not. But again, I will say it's probably best that it's just normal crates with, you know, charms that you can eventually get the tank guaranteed, instead of freaking, you know, having to spend thousands of dollars on a stupid, you know, draw, and then it turns out to be not to your advantage. So I'm more than happy to do that. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the Type 5 Heavy, and whether you approve of it or disapprove of it. I'd like to know your opinions. As always, look after yourselves, look after your friends and family. Peace in the Middle East and everywhere else in this beautiful world. And as always, I will catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.